When is the timing of this vote in the House?
Yeah, so it depends on when the Senate takes it up. Our understanding is that will be today. And so Speaker Pelosi will have to schedule that for Thursday or Friday. I suspect that members will want time to review this bill, but still act very quickly. So I'm hopeful sooner rather than later. And I think, Kevin, I think the key thing here is this package. It is big, it's targeted, and it will make a difference, both on the healthcare side of this challenge and especially on the economic side of this challenge. And because it is designed that way, I predict a very strong support in the House and the Senate.
So no Republicans, according to your conversations with your colleagues, you don't predict any Republicans dissenting?
Oh, I think there will be both in the House and Senate Democrats and Republicans who may not like the final bill. That's not the issue. The issue here is, despite the 3-day delay we've had because of Democrats in the House and Senate, we've reached agreement. It's important to get this to the president's desk. He fully supports it. And from my standpoint, working on the tax, the unemployment, in the healthcare areas, this is a package we can support because it helps keep workers on the job. It helps those who aren't, and to make sure that there are jobs for them to come back to. A lot of lending and support for large and small businesses as we go forward. So yeah, I think this is a key vote and will help not just stabilize the economy of the U.S., but help build it.
Congressman, let me ask you specifically about small and medium-sized businesses, more than $300 billion here. If you're the leader of a small business or a medium-sized business, where do you go to get information on how to get direct access to this money that is in this bill? Who do you call?
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. Great question. Go to your banker. Almost every business has a banking relationship, a lender they work with. Go to them. While the SBA is the point person on much of the small business lending, in truth, this is designed to work through your local lenders so it can go faster, so there is less, so it is more streamlined and can get to that help to the business sooner. We also added a worker retention tax credit for those businesses who don't want to borrow, even if it's forgiven, but they need help keeping their workers on the payroll. A new credit that can pay half of the workers' wages, which means for the average worker in the U.S., almost 2 months of their salary. That's another option we've added to help our local businesses.
And that, Congressman, I know being on the Ways and Means Committee that you were very influential in that tax portion. As it relates to big businesses, $500 billion in this piece of legislation as it relates to larger institutions. How soon, Congressman, can they actually get that money?
Yeah, so I don't know the answer to that. We had another committee working the distressed industries side of this, but certainly Treasury Secretary Mnuchin, Senator Grassley, and others have focused on getting this lending out the door very quickly. I think in combination with what the Fed is doing all in on the liquidity side of this, I think you've sort of got a double whammy here in a good way for businesses who need that liquidity. And I think the key here is, bailouts sort of infer someone did something wrong. In these cases, businesses did nothing wrong. In some cases, government shut them down. So I think we have a responsibility to help provide the liquidity they need to get through, but ride it out and then rebound strongly.
Quickly, I just have 2 more questions. You've been so generous with your time, Congressman, but as it relates to the checks to Americans, $1,200 at least and $500 per child, when will that money hit their accounts?
So it looks like it'll be the first week of April, Kevin. I know that Treasury and the IRS is already focused on how we get those checks out the door. I wouldn't be surprised, since most people use direct deposit with their tax returns, that may be a very easy vehicle quickly to get that to them. We'll also, of course, be giving direct rebates to those on Social Security. We have a mechanism for that as well. So the bottom line is it looks like it'll come quickly.
And finally, Congressman, this is just one piece in the economic stimulus. There's already talk about another wave of economic stimulus. What is the timetable for that?
I don't know the answer. I think right now the focus is on finishing this third package, making sure it's hitting the targets, listening back home to our small businesses, our workers, our families, to make sure this is helping. There are some, as I understand it, there have been some funding issues, still continuing the discussion on how we help our local hospitals, communities, and others respond to this health crisis. That may well be part of a fourth package from what I've heard. But as far as the tax and economic side of this, I don't think that's been determined yet.